Hey Tyler, what does Princess Zelda eat for breakfast?
I don't know. What does Princess Zelda eat for breakfast?
A sausage link.
Ah,
Ha, ha,
ah,
ha, ha.
I can
Uh,
that sounds that an adult joke?
I have no idea, honestly. I think it was originally like maybe an innocent joke, and then when you think about it, it really isn't.
Yes, because it could either mean something to do with Link or the fact that she ate Ganon, I guess, because he's technically a pig.
I guess,
There's a lot of
but also
connotations
like
to
an
that.
actual sausage link. But
Let's break this joke down.
Find a spot around the fireplace, you goons. It's time for another tale of Casual Master Quest.
what is up, gamers? It's your boy Nick, the worst Widowmaker in the Pacific Northwest. This is episode 31 of Casual Master Quest, and I'm joined by my beautiful, lovely, hungover co-host, Tyler.
I am definitely hung over as heck right now. Yes, Tyler Bitto over in the air representing the northern Midwest U.S. Man, this is episode 31. This is the perfect IV for breeding Pokemon episode.
Yes, it is indeed. It's been
If Casual Master Quest was a stat that we wanted a 31 in, what do you think? What do you think it'd be? Attack,
Right now?
defense?
Defense.
Let's say either defense or a special defense because I feel like alcohol is like a special attack at this point. It's not physical. Oof, mercy. I got beaten up.
How's your week been, Tyler? You've had quite a week.
Yeah, since we keep either delaying or prelaying our recording sessions, we got 2 weekends worth of information to talk about. Oh man, I went to 2 different parties last weekend. As pre-discussed, I went over to my best friend Nick's house. We partied it out, had a good old time.
Was it a classic red cup rager or
A what?
a red cup, like, frat
A
party?
red cup rager.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure I was in a house that had cost more than all the money I've made so far in my life. It's a very nice house. He lives with his family, and man, they live good. We actually went to the Black Rock Bar and Grill, I believe it's called. And my goodness, that is
That's the most
that is-
American sounding like grill if I've ever heard one.
Now, picture this. We sit down. It's cold as all hell in the corner that we're sitting. Like, it's freezing. Like, I didn't even take off my coat. And people, even the waitress, like, man, this is cold as hell over here. Jeez. And after everybody orders and whatnot, and we figure out what's going on, we get handed literally a black rock that is heated up to 755 degrees. So this is, a piece of rock that is as hot as a low energy fire right in front of us. And they give us the steak nearly raw. And so we get to chop up the steak and cook it on this, 700 degree rock. And it was fantastic. And it warmed right up too. Oh, mercy. I got the show. What's up?
I was just going to say 750 Fahrenheit is just under 400 Celsius for anybody who cares like me.
Oh,
that's a hot rock.
Sorry.
That's a very hot rock.
I was gonna say, like, 755 is a big number, but I don't know what it means because I live in Canada. Fancy you over there. And then I had a second party, which happened yesterday. Went pretty good. And then I have a very persuasive friend who got me super shit-faced. Like, not even super shit-faced. I'm super shit-faced saying 2. Like, the second level. Like, I got plowed in the course of, like, 15 minutes. It was horrible.
You say persuasive friend, but like how persuasive are we talking about? Because really, for all it takes for me is if I'm not in the mood to drink, all my best friend has to do is just walk up and be like, take a shot and be like, all right, and so the night begins.
Okay. So what started for like the first 4 hours? What I drank was I think 2 beers and then a cup of those like part 1/3 what's it called? Crystal Skull vodka,
Yeah,
like top
yeah.
shelf level shit, or Crystal Head, whatever you want to call it. It's a big old skull. Mix that in, and I hardly got buzzed, but I had a good time. Then he came up to me with the shots, like ready to go, and he's like, "Here, take this one." I'm like, oh, sure, it's this one shot. He has 4 shots in his hand. You can guess where I'm going with this. He's like, "Here, take this one." I'm like, "What about other people?" I'm like, take this one, and they all And then at this point, I'm not reaching for them anymore. And he's like, just open your mouth. It just starts tossing them in. I'm like, damn, dude, that's strong. I need something to chase it down. He's like, here, chase this down. He gives me a 5th shot. And I all calculated. Apparently, I had about 9-10 shots of Crystal Head vodka. And then I was given at the end, like, I'm playing Cards Against Humanity with everybody. I hate Cards Against Humanity, but I was so drunk I didn't care at that point. I just, I was just sitting down. I was like, okay, just don't make me stand, please. And so they apparently had a bartender who just kept supplying me with. I just wanted some root beer or something, but every time they
need some water.
Yeah, I was like, here's some Sprite. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, it's half vodka. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I guess I got pretty plowed, and then I went to bed around midnight last night, and then I woke up and I just roll over. I'm like, oh, what time is it? And she's like, my wife was like 1:50 p.m. I'm like, oh shit, I have a friend coming over. So I had a friend come over and we hung out for a little bit, and then I had to go back to recover my car because there was no way in hell I was gonna drive. Oh man! Apparently, I set off a truck alarm, like a security alarm. I guess I fell into it or something like that. Which I'm surprised I don't have an insurance claim against me. I have no idea what happened. It was fun, a lot of fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
So much fun, Nick. Holy alcoholism, though. Jeez, oh Pete. What about your end? What happened your week?
I finished. I'm done with finals. Done with semester.
Are you?
Yep. My grades. Two of my 3 courses. The grades came back. They went just as I expected, and I'm pretty happy with them. We had
congratulations, I guess I should say, shouldn't I? Here,
thank you. Yeah, my roommate also he finished a few days after me, and that was his last exam ever. So he's graduated, and so we went out, celebrated a little bit. But otherwise, really, I've just been chilling for the most part. We had building management finally come in, take care of our mouse problem. So we have in the kitchen where the dishwasher is, there's a countertop over it, and it's kind of boxed in, and so you'd have to like unscrew it, take off the braces to pull it out, and we didn't have any of the tools, so building management had to come and do it, because 2 weeks ago when we had our first initial inspection with the exterminator, or what do you call people who deal with mice, like rodents? Because it's not pest control. Is it pest control?
You can call it pest control. You can call it an exterminator. I mean, they sound like horrible names, but their job has a purpose, and that's what it is.
Anyways, so the guy came in 2 weeks ago, did his check. He's like, yeah, confirmed. You have mice, laid a few traps.
It's like you got one in your shoulder, you got to brush it off. It's like, no shit, Sherlock, I got it.
Refresh the baits and stuff. And then he said 2 weeks ago, all right, I'm going to tell building management to check behind the dishwasher, because I think that's where they're coming from, because we found some of the insulation that's only present in either like the water lines in between walls or like electrical wires. And so we found it out on the kitchen floor in the corner that I hadn't seen it. And he's like, this is probably where they're coming from. And like, all right, cool. He's like, I'll tell building management. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I guess management forgot and sent the maintenance guy the same day and the same time that the exterminator came to follow up. So while he was getting busy, exterminator went around, checked the traps again. They've not been touched as much, which is nice. But he was telling me across the street from me, there was a motel that was riddled with mice and bed bugs that was closed down. Ooh. And then about 2 blocks to the right of it, all those buildings had been bought up, all that property had been bought up, and all of that was being demolished. And so all of these rodents were now looking for a new place to live. Yeah, right. They're relocating.
It makes sense.
And so he's like, the whole area has a bit of an issue with this right now, but maintenance guy pulled out the dishwasher. He's like, I can't see anything in the water line. And then he pulls it out even further. This turns off electrical. And he's like, I found it. Seals that hole up. It was along the electrical wires. So here's hoping for the best. Now our apartment's officially party ready, because we're throwing a New Year Christmas fusion party in a week and a half or so.
Nice.
But yeah, that's really it.
That's a hell of a week. Like I did so much more, but it was all video game related. So it's like I want to tell you about the video, man.
I bought a new video game.
I also bought a new video game. Oh
All right.
man, we both bought video games.
Yeah, we did.
Man, if we didn't, then I guess this would just be the casual talk show.
Which it usually ends up being anyways, but at least it's video game related.
Yeah, there's
Eventually.
a video game here and there.
Yeah.
Let's tackle out the game that we played together.
Dead Space 3.
Dead Space motherfucking 3. So,
all right. Disclaimer: I don't like horror things at all. Here's the deal that I have set up with my friends. If they want to see a horror movie, they have to wine and dine me and pay for my ticket, because there's no way in hell that I'm going to pay money for a horror movie, because I don't understand the thrill of sitting in a place in a dark room to get scared by something that's on a big screen. I don't understand that. I'm not hating on anybody that enjoys it. I just don't care for it.
And I totally understand. I had to do that for my friend David, who you saw earlier.
Yeah.
I took him to see the new movie It,
Right.
And Pennywise the clown. He was terrified. And like I was sitting there, like, I didn't really jump on anything. It was a good moment. It was a good movie. It looked kind of spooky. And meanwhile, I'm seeing him pull his hat lower and lower to cover his eyes so he doesn't have to look. I'm like, "Are you okay, buddy?" He's like, "No."
Yeah, I'm what you would call a big old PUS capital C. I don't particularly enjoy horror related activities,
and that's perfectly okay. Sometimes I don't feel anything, so I need even if it's fear, you got to feel alive somehow. And some games do it good, some games don't. I am a strong victim of or survivor of anxiety. Right. And so if there's a game that knows how to stir it up just the right way, anxiety and paranoia, it plays me like a xylophone. All of a sudden it's like you're hitting every note, man. I'm shaking over here. I'm loving this. Because I know, like, if I just got to break the immersion and start, thinking of the Benny Hill theme song or something as I'm running away from a monster. Except for in VR, it's very hard to, a horror game in VR was actually.
No, that sounds terrifying. No, I would. You'd have to pay me a ridiculous amount of money to ever experience a horror game in VR. And when I say ridiculous, I mean something like, give me $1,000, I'll play for an hour.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7 on VR was a whole brand new experience of dread. Oh man. But we're not talking about Resident Evil 7. We're talking about Dead Space 3. Now, Dead Space 3 came out on February 5th, 2013. Visceral Games, rest in peace to them. This was one of the last major games that I know of that, was Visceral Games final projects, I guess you could say. They're one of their final completed projects.
But that wasn't what was promised to them when EA approached them. But that's a different topic.
Oh man, hot takes.
What time was it? Was it like 11:30 my time, maybe? So like 2 a.m. for you. You proposed something.
I feel like for me it was like 11 p.m. So I feel like it was around like 8 or o'clock or something like that. You said you were gonna meet up with some friends around 11 my time.
Yeah, but that didn't happen. Yeah,
you had a couple of hours. It was like, you're gonna play Fortnite. Let me show you a good game that we can play together. Because we were scouring, looking around. I was like, let's find a game. And I was like, Dead Space 3. I kind of said it as a joke because I knew you were gonna cringe. You're like, but thanks to the power of the Casual Master Quest gaming funds, we were able to get you it, and it's been like between $10 and $15 since it, like a year after it came out. It's fairly cheap and
very cheap. And it was more so that I would be playing with somebody rather than alone. That's why that's the same reason why I agreed to play Dark Souls. Dark Souls is not particularly scary, but it's not my kind of game. But it's because my friends were like, "Oh, I'll play with you." I'm like, "All right, I'll play the game then."
Now, my stipulation with playing this game typically was I had to get hammered. This is, I think, the first time I played it stone cold sober. And it was not as scary as I imagined it to be on my, 4th or 5th playthrough here. It wasn't that bad. Not bad at all.
No, there were a few moments where it was kind of like, all right, I don't like these noises. I don't like this situation.
Oh,
but
it was
overall,
so fun making that noise.
It wasn't too bad.
It would just be quiet and everything feels tense. And also I'd be like, and they'd be like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, I'm sorry, man.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I think you calculated we played like 5.5 hours of it in one go.
Yes. Yes.
We took a half-hour break. I was trying to break it off. I'm like, all right, let me eat or something. I got to step away. And you're like, let's keep going. I'm like, fuck it, let's do this. We just went in. Dead Space 3. You haven't touched. You played a little bit of the second one, if I remember correctly, but you didn't touch the first one.
Thinking back on it, I think I played a little bit more of the second one than I may have remembered. I think it was one of the two. So it was maybe like 2009, 2010. I was in India. My cousin came to visit. I wasn't really big on gaming still, and he had all these different games on his laptop. And as one does, it was me and him. And he's like, at 2 a.m, here, try this game. I think it was either the first or the second one. And I think I played about 2 hours on it, and I was able to because I had him with me. No, that was Dead Space 1. Dead Space 2 was the one that I couldn't play past the opening scene with the elevator.
That sounds correct. Yeah. Yes.
So the moment that elevator, like the moment the game starts, you get into an elevator and all these things happen. I'm like, nope, that was too scary. I'm out.
I can't blame me one bit either, man. Oh shit. So, Dead Space 3. What are your opening thoughts here about this?
It's interesting. It was the weapon customization, the weapon building was unique to some extent. It felt unique and it felt genuine to the game. It allows for a lot of depth, for a lot of depth and a lot
too,
of great
if you goof up.
Crazy combinations. Like you could have a shotgun with a shotgun attachment as you design.
Double shotgun.
You could have a pistol with a grenade launcher attachment. You could have a scout rifle, like just a regular semi-auto rifle with the grenade launchers. All these crazy different combinations, and I really enjoyed that. I don't know, in comparison to like modern shooters, it felt a little bit janky or a little bit slow, but it's not a PvP based game. There is PvP, but the main focus of the game is the PvE, the actual story. So that wasn't like it wasn't a problem. That's just I remember at the start it felt slow, but then I got used to it.
It is definitely a slower paced game because they expect the people who are a little bit more intimidated by the nature of it to take their time. And so I think once we got into the groove of it together, we knew, check the vents, check the ceilings, and make sure there's nothing coming at us. Whenever you're ahead of me, I always checked behind us because I know they like to get us that way.
Yep.
And I really think the only time we really struggled was if there was an event that caused instant death if we triggered it wrong. Like the time where we had to jump from a exploding broken ship and then fly through like a bunch of debris and asteroids. We kept murdering ourselves. And then there was another time where one of us has to do a puzzle while the other one has to keep the monsters at bay. Because God forbid the player doing the puzzle can't heal themselves. And for some reason once they hop on the ground and they kind of stand up, their AI targets a given player. And it's completely random too. It's like, I'm going to run right past you and go after him. I'm like, why? Just focus on me. I can heal. But it was a fun game. I would say we're just a little bit under halfway through the game right now. We hit the planet. We're on the planet. We're on the frozen planet right now.
Yeah, time to save humanity.
Yeah, we're searching for Rosetta, I believe it was. A scientist / whatever. Like I know how the story turns out and all that stuff, but yeah, we're trying to also find our ex-girlfriend and her dickhole new boyfriend, I guess you could say, who's also the captain of the character I was playing. It's a good fun game. I hope we keep playing it. There's a lot of drawbacks, but for a game that's 6 years old, 5 years old, it
holds up pretty well. Oh yeah, it holds up.
Graphics look great on the settings too. Oh man. But what other games have you been playing?
I've been playing. So I know I have my standard roster. I played a little bit of Destiny, but not too much this week. I've just been busy with Overwatch more than anything else. I know it's my standard, one of my standard games. But the last few weeks have been a little bit different. I usually just jump in, play a few games, and then hop out, try and get some loot boxes, especially when there's an event going on. The last few weeks I've been playing with like almost fixed group of 4 or 5 people, and we've been going into competitive matchmaking, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm not sure if I can say who I've been playing with. I haven't gotten permission because there's some high profile people in there, but it's been a lot of fun. I don't mind losing when it's, we're a fixed group of people. We know who messed up. We can work on fixing it and we're not being toxic.
That is That sounds like the
salty and toxic are two different kinds of things. Two different things, in my opinion. When you're salty, you're just upset. When you're toxic, you're upset, and so you decide to attack another person for no reason. When being positive or at least being constructive would get you a lot farther. And so we get salty a lot, especially when we lose, but we have fun in the process. And so it's been really nice playing Overwatch the last few weeks, despite not getting many wins.
Okay.
But yeah. I did pick up a new game, though.
Yes.
It is called Wizard of Legend.
Wizard of Legend. Tell me about this game. I don't think I've really heard of it.
Wizard of Legend is a roguelike action video game dungeon crawler. It came out earlier this year on the 15th of May. It is developed by a company called Contingent 99. I don't really know too much about them, but I'm having fun with this game. I'm just going to pull up my stats here. I've already put about 6 hours into it, and I picked it up the other day, maybe 2 days ago.
Good deal.
15 Canadian dollars, I guess, for me. So cheap game. It's available on.
For us, I don't know.
It's available on all consoles. So PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC. So the basic premise: have you ever played or seen gameplay of Binding of Isaac?
Yes.
So.
Okay.
In a similar context, you go through 3 different stages. Each stage has 2 levels, and then the final level of that stage is a boss. And then you do that 3 times, and then you get to battle the final boss. And then you start off with 4 different spells. 1 basic attack spell, 1 movement spell that can have damage related to it, 1 standard spell that has a cooldown, and then 1 ultimate spell that you can use regularly as well. And then you get, as you do more damage, you fill up a bar. When the bar is full, you use it, and it does like insane amounts of damage.
Nice.
You start off with 1 relic that does whatever effect, and then you pick up more. I think you can pick up to 10 relics through each run. And each run gives you defeating enemies, gives you gems that you use to buy more spells. You can buy cloaks that have different stat boosting abilities. Basically it's a little roguelike action grinder where you just throw spells around, and it's a badass game. It just makes you feel badass.
I'm looking at it right now, looking at a video for it, and it has very retro style graphics, but the fluidity or whatever you want to say, the fluidness of the spell casting and whatnot, and the movement is just fantastic. Oh my gosh. And it looks like it's multiplayer too.
Yeah, you can have at least one other person join in on your run. So on one system, like I bought it off Steam, so I can have somebody play on the keyboard and I can play on my controller. Or I think I could plug in another controller and the 2 of us could just sit and play.
It lists single player, local co-op, and then shared / split screen. So I don't know if that means you can't do an online team up versus.
I don't think so, because it doesn't seem like there is an option anywhere at the title screen to like join friends.
Right. I don't think this is really an online kind of game. It's just strictly a good fun game that you can just play.
Yeah, no, it's one of those Switch advertisement games where you're out in the wild and you find a bud to play with, and you just pop open the kickstand, set the Switch down, give your friend the controller, and you 2 are just going at it.
And the moves and attacks are just over the top. You're right. It makes you feel like a badass. Like every single thing, it's like, you know what? I could shoot a fireball at you, or I can make this Kamehameha wave of just fiery energy, or a giant Bowser castle style spinning blade of fire just surround you as you're charging forward, and it's like Pokemon moves at this point.
Yep. I was looking. I want to really, and I think we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it on an episode or off an episode, but I want to diversify at least to some extent the kinds of games I'm playing, or at least start to. And I wanted something where I could just kind of that has that I could mindlessly play, but also has the option where if I think about it, I can go to more detail and more strategize better to get to the end. But just a game that I could just jump into, just sort of play for a few minutes or like 30 minutes and then hop out kind of thing. This is perfect for that, because each stage, if you do it right, takes about 5 to 7 minutes to clear. And the boss fights just get harder and harder, but the first boss took me about 3 minutes.
Okay. And it looks like it is on Steam for $15.99. Did you get it for the PC?
Yes.
Okay. So on the PC, it's 16 American dollars.
So it was 19 for me. Yeah.
Okay. that sounds like a good deal. Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it, and I would say if you do get it on Steam, don't use your keyboard because it is more challenging. Like, don't use keyboard and mouse. Try and use a controller because you can move around, but you don't cast spells based on where you're looking or where you're moving. You cast spells based on where your cursor is. So you have to do two different. I know it sounds like one would already do that with the kind of games I already play, but this is a little bit different because it's not first person. So it's hard to keep tracks of the two different things where I am and where the cursor is at the same time.
This looks like a fun game that you could potentially play. Well, it's on the Switch, as you said, all of the major systems. I feel like this would be a fun Switch game.
It would be a fun Switch game. I'm 100% sure it would be really fun on the Switch.
Oh man, we gotta consider testing that out then. Jeez, that looks like fun. Anything else on your end?
No, that's it. It's been a really slow week. I just found this. I've been just going out, seeing some friends, couple of people traveling home for the winter. So before I really get settled in here into my gaming chair, I just wanted to get some real life stuff out of the way.
No, you had a good slew of stuff to stay there. And quite frankly, I do too. I got all right, I only played these 3 games. Oh, and this one, and this one. Oh shit, I did this one because I bought it this day. And it's like, oh god, it kept adding up and up. Last week, I'm going to start off with the couple of the stuff I always talked about already. For example, Let's Go Pikachu. I am now up to the 8th badge right now.
Nice.
I'm sitting in the gym in Viridian City right now. The nice thing about training with somebody and being the passenger means during the longer sections, I'll just play Pokemon. Yeah. And it's still Pokemon. It's still doing this thing. I was able to test out the whole Pokemon Go transfer thing. So a couple of things I want to note. Oh boy, it's a one-way transfer, of course. And when you do a transfer from Pokemon Go to the game itself, actually, you've probably tried it out already, haven't you?
I've tried it once. Yeah.
Okay. You'll get a little gift box thing that you open up, and all of a sudden it'll start randomly spawning that Melmetal Pokemon that I could give two shits about.
I haven't done that. Have I not transferred enough Pokemon then? Do you have to transfer a certain amount?
I don't know, because I transferred probably about a total of 20 just to test out different things.
I transferred like 5.
Okay. So the first thing I want to say is don't transfer your best Pokemon. I tested that out by sending one good, I had like 20 different Pokemon I like to use for battles. I was like, I got 2 of these, let's send them over. And it was like a 2800 CP Pokemon. And I was like, okay, this is probably like level 60 or level 70. It gets sent over, it's like level 28. And I'm like, oh, okay. So they don't transfer over like the good qualities. Like it's if you beefed up Pokemon up to like max and you send it over, it's gonna downgrade it more than likely. So just send over Pokemon that you just simply want because you can't get it. For example, there was a Shiny Dratini event that happened to Pokemon Go a very long time ago, and finding shinies and Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee is actually a little bit more easier to understand, and you can raise your chances. However, it's still going to take forever, and you could just simply transfer one over. Whether or not you feel like that's the right thing you should do, and you should spend 10, 12 hours trying to work up the grind to try to get a Shiny Dratini, that's your prerogative. But it was nice to do. I sent over a Mewtwo, and the Mewtwo was level 20, so that was interesting. And I was able to send over as many Pokemon as I wanted to. You get candy from Pokemon Go for doing that. I don't think it's as much as just sending it to the professor, but I mean, you still get candy. So, and plus you still technically get to keep the Pokemon. So I tested that out. They're like, hey, if you send 10 of the same Pokemon, you can do like a Pokemon race thing. And I'm like, nah, thank you. I'm good. And beyond that, I didn't really notice anything that was too definitive about the whole transferring thing. Not as big of a deal as I thought it would be. Like, I thought it would be like a game changer in some way. But honestly, if you want to play Pokemon competitively for some reason on Let's Go Pikachu, Eevee, I don't think you're going to do it by catching Pokemon in Pokemon Go and transferring it over.
No.
I mean, you might, I guess, but IV training, you can't breed in the game, so it just feels like a nightmare situation. You're gonna have to spend a lot more time trying to get, battle perfect Pokemon. But that is beyond my, realm of interest. I'm just planning on beating the game if I can and just keep on moving.
Beyond the whole Melmetal thing, or Meltan thing, I'm really glad that the Pokemon Go Park or whatever really didn't turn out to be much more than that.
Yeah.
Because What kind of main core RPG title would have you rely on another insignificant Pokemon game that most casuals don't even know the names of the Pokemon?
That is also very true. That is unfortunate truth.
So beyond the Meltan thing, and which I'm sure they're gonna make it available somehow in the next generation, I'm just glad that it didn't turn out to be much more, and that Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee are just little nutshells of their own, enjoyment, own entertainment.
Yeah, it was. This is probably gonna be the last time I talk too deeply into it, except for when I announced I beat it. So maybe next year or something. Actually, next year is not even that big of a joke because that's 2 weeks away.
That is 2 weeks away.
Beyond that, though, I got to play a couple of new games and some returning games to give better thoughts and opinions on. First one was Beat Saber. When I went to see my best friend Nick over the last weekend, I got to play a little game called Beat Saber. Now, how
does it feel like to be a Jedi Master now?
It feels fucking fantastic. Yeah. Unless you have a ceiling fan above your head, then you got to be careful. It was comical. For those who don't know, Beat Saber is essentially a game where you wield, it's PSVR based, so virtual reality. You see cubes that have arrows on them or whatnot that you gotta, like one's gonna be blue, one's gonna be red, and you have a blue and red lightsaber of sorts. You gotta slice them in the right direction and whatnot, and this nice techno beat pattern. Like, this is some good J-pop level shit. And my God, just pretending that you're a Jedi Master, just because each time you slice the box in half, it gives you a nice bass sound, like I know I'm a terrible thing, but it's just feeling cool because like when you're not in the VR and you're just watching them, you're like, you can imagine how try hard cool they're trying to look, and it's amazing. Like I said, though, don't have any fragile fixtures above your head, because one of the first things Nick tried doing was swinging his arm up in the air. Thankfully, the bulbs on the what are they called, the PlayStation Move controllers, right. The bulbs on them are actually soft rubber. So he hit the light, which didn't do anything, and it fell out of his hand, flew behind him into a window patio door, and bounced off of that, and then just fell to the ground. And we just kind of looked around, like, okay, no wild uppercuts, but it stinks because VR in general, it's hard to try to sell somebody a game by telling them about it. You got to show them. Right. If you got a PSVR and you've been looking for a reason to bring it back to life, Beat Saber is the one to do it. It does require two PS Move controllers, so if you made that full jump, it's been collecting dust since Job Simulator, and you want a reason to love VR again. That game was so good. Like it was so good that Nick's stepdad, who doesn't care for video games, the moment he put that goggle on, and like after one or two rounds of this, he's like, "This is amazing. I gotta get this right here and now." A guy who's made more money in 1 year than I have my entire life was so amazed by this level of technology on a VR for the PS4, not even HTC Vive. Like, he felt young again. He was having fun. And it was great. I was so happy. And then there was another time where Nick, I think it was Gran Turismo or something like that, where there's a VR version you can play. And his mom's favorite car just came out as a DLC that Nick bought. So not only was she able to look around and walk around this car of her dreams, she was able to drive it. And just seeing her look around into the trunk and whatnot, and just being so bamboozled with delight, and then driving it, she just, it changed her. She was so amazed. And it stinks because PSVR is one of those things where you get hardcore into it, you love it, you shout its praises for a month, and then you don't talk about it for a very long time because it's like there's only so much you can shout out. Beat Saber is a game that came out recently that is worth giving another chance, another shout out for. Had a good time with it. Very good time. Beyond that, though, over at that party, we played a little bit of a game called Super Mario Party, the game that can end marriages and family ties. Oh man, it was my wife, myself, Nick, and Nick's mother. I had to name them off because I need to remember the names of those who betrayed me multiple times.
Okay, so Just to clarify, because you were playing in person, that means you had full access to like all of the Super Mario Party like modes.
Yes, we sat down, we played a game board, we were able to do everything. Everything was unlocked.
Okay.
And I had the game and my own Switch there. So we could have played it where I hooked up to it and just played off my thing and they played it off the TV. But I just figured for the natural experience, we just all have a single Joy-Con and we're just looking on the TV.
Right.
So a couple of things happened. Spoiler alert, I did not win.
No.
I did not win. I got first place like within like I think the first 2 rounds. And of course I knew in my heart of hearts, if you get a good early lead, it's not gonna last forever. And so sure as shit, there was I believe a Lakitu that was like, hey, 30 coins, I'll steal a star from somebody. And it was Amanda, had her choice between myself and Nick. And I think she hit random rather than going after Nick, who was in first place at the time, I believe. She hit random and it picked me and just put me from either first and second all the way to dead last. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I get another star. I get back up, and then I get a second star. So I'm in first place again. By both luck and goodwill, I was able to get back my, straight, even after a little cheap shot like that. I'm not a big fan of stealing stars, but that's okay. It's part of the game. And so it's the final round. And Nick's mom might have been a little tipsy at this point. And she was getting ready to activate an event that drops a giant boulder that clears out all the players. So it was not going to do anything. And I was like, before you do that, or just go this way, you're not going to be able to reach the star in time. You could go over there to that tricksy little Lakitu again, and you could pay it 30 coins and steal a star. She's drunk. So she's like, okay, I'll do that. And she collects it. I'm like, all right, now pick somebody that you think should, steal the star from. She picks me. Again, putting me back to dead last, like my goodwill and helping her get a chance to increase her, time with the game. And she just spites me right in the face. I'm like, okay, I used to call you mom. I don't know anymore. Here, I felt like a bridge was not burnt, but it did get a little toasty. I'm not going to lie. I was bitter. I was betrayed by one of the, 2 closest female companions in my life. And in one fell swoop, in one shot. My wife's trying to give me the look like, I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. I think Nick won, and he was very happy about that because he was playing with his mom and sister and alongside his stepdad, and they were always under the belt level tactics, apparently, and he never could score, a legit win. So I'm glad for him. Good for him. Let's be happy about it. A little clap for him. Mario Party is fun, though. It was everything I expected. The boards are the right size, 2-3 rounds you can get to a star, or it could appear right next to you. They had fun games. I don't think there was the only game I had trouble playing was the one that we were actually able to play when we got together, and that was when we were sauteing like a little piece of meat cube.
Yeah, what words are hard. The cube of meat.
Yes.
You have to get a perfect sear on each side.
Yes, and you're using the Joy-Con to kind of flip over the piece until you get the final thing. And of course, I jerk it just a little bit, and it translates to launch the damn thing out the window. And then you get start off with a fresh piece of meat. I just gave up. There was no point in me trying. Oh, man. So other than that, though, I had a lot of fun with that. And of course, lastly, I said we wouldn't have a chance to really talk about it because we're recording so early. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Now,
never heard of it.
Yeah, good for you, man. I've been hearing a lot of hot takes, and I want to call out those hot takes. As I'm sure everybody's talked about Super Smash Brothers in general. You've heard what people had to say about each of the stuff. I'm not going to give you the deepest of dives, but I want to warn you right now. I'm not pleased with the way that some people are handling how this game is played. Ever since day one, Super Smash Bros. Had this weird, kind of depressing and annoying, but otherwise a deep tradition of making you unlock all the characters. Is often through, doing certain things like the Get Nuts. It was like, you gotta play with this character and do it on the hardest mode without losing any lives or something like that. And the Nintendo 64 version, stuff like that. Just silly little things. Nowadays,
little in-game challenges.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, with there being 75 or whatever amount of characters, that's a lot of people to unlock. So I understand it's a little upsetting that you have to do all that. But basically, you can unlock one or a chance to unlock one in like every 10, 15 minutes just by doing classic mode. And there's a nice list on the website. If you want to unlock this character, if you want Bayonetta, play the classic mode with Sonic. Just beat it real quick. Then you get a chance to fight her. And even if you lose, there's something called like Challenger's Peak or something like that will appear randomly that you can just click on that and you'll get a chance to fight one of the characters you lost to with a person you like to play with. So they're not making it all that hard. But then there's some people are like, I shouldn't have to spend all this time playing the game and having fun with each of the characters in order to unlock all of them. And it's like, first off, why are you unlocking all of them? Are you just a completionist? I mean, at that point, it's like, oh no, you got to play the game and enjoy yourself. You might have to try a challenge of playing. People who are complaining about having to unlock all the challenges, saying it's a disgrace against Nintendo, are a bunch of wusses.
And I mean, it's not like this hasn't been done before. I mean, from what I understand, this has always been the case.
I mean, if you think of any fighting game the alternative is to have all of them right there. You just look at them, they're right there, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have all these characters, I don't know what to do. You get to start with the core set of 10 characters that you want to play as or fight as. And then you'll get one that you'll get a new one, and then you try that one. So you get to learn and mess with all the characters and understand like the pros and disadvantages. And I think it was a very good step-by-step way of learning if somebody picks Fox, which character do you pick to play against that? Because Fox's playstyle and whatnot. And so people who want instant gratitude and all that stuff, I paid $60 for the game. I shouldn't have to, play the game. I just want everything there. It's like, just buy the amiibos then and just stare at them and be happy or some shit.
Tell them they can go play Battlefront then.
Damn. Oh, damn. It's like, it's nice that we get to, play all these characters without having to buy them, because most of these characters were DLC in the previous games. And so you got it instantly by, paying $5-10 for each one of them. But now that you got them all for free, but you still got to do the tradition of, try to fight for them. You got to earn the right to, get that character. And, people are just bitching about it.
Nobody starts Destiny off with the best guns in the game. Nobody starts Call of Duty with the best guns in the game. Nobody starts Battlefield with the best guns in the game. So
yeah, you're comparing a shooter to a brawler, though. I mean,
no, I'm talking about the reward factor, at least, or the gameplay progression. Not necessarily the gameplay. Like, yes, you to get this thing that will offer you maybe a better advantage because you maybe want to use it for fun, or because that it's a better character, the movesets. Oh, you got to play the game a little bit and do these different challenges. I don't see a problem with it.
Now, good examples say, this is how it should be done would be like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Fighters Z. Or, like Street Fighter, where most of the characters come, unlocked already, or Mortal Kombat. They have all the characters right there. Explore them at your own pace. Do what you need to. I understand that. Super Smash Bros. Is its own completely different field of genre to some extent. We've never seen a fighting game quite like this. I mean, that's why it's so popular. At this point, they got characters that haven't even existed on their system. Hell, I like the first DLC that just got announced last week was Joker from Persona 5. Right. No offense, I don't think Persona has been on the Nintendo since like the Super Nintendo. I could be wrong about that even. It's been majorly a PlayStation owned thing. Cloud from Final Fantasy 7. I'm sorry, but Final Fantasy 6 has been the last time that, unless you count like The World Ends With You and Kingdom Hearts games, it's just weird. We never really had a good chance like this to legally have such a cool mashup on a platform like this in such a way. And people, there's different rules that you got to adhere to. And I know I'm really defending Nintendo for some reason about this and Sakurai. It's a natural tradition that I guess I grew up with since the day the game came out. And quite frankly, I do like the idea of looking at the entire roster and saying, I fucking earned all these guys. I had to do so much shit, but here it is. And of course, people want to buy it and play it day one with their friends and stuff. And you can still unlock characters doing that. Like, I think ever since Melee, this character will challenge you if you do 10 fights, and you can cheese it too. So that works out. But that's the Super Smash Brothers we all know and love. There's there's a lot of interesting things like World of Light. Now, World of Light is it's called Spirits, the thing that they blurred out in the trailer. Like, let me show you all the stuff, but let's blur out this word Spirits because we can't have you figuring out what that is. And we also saw the trailer where this giant winged demon or angel thing called Galeem pretty much nuked everybody with Kamehamehas and turned them into evil spirits. And the way that they're handling that is wonderful. Now, a lot of people are getting this confused, and I don't even know if I have this right. I'm pretty sure a lot of people think that if you start off with Kirby, each time you unlocked a character in this World of Light Spirits game, it unlocks it for the main roster to play with other people. That is not the case. Nor vice versa, where if you unlock a character through the classic the classic adventure mode, you get that from the main roster, but that won't unlock it from its form in World of Light. It's like two different game modes right there. So I just want to say for the record, if you want to play with your friends, you can trigger events that'll cause the character to unlock for the main roster, but everything you locked in that game is really just tied to World of Light. And so I played a little bit of that. I'm trying to get into it. There's fun little quirks. Like you'll challenge a spirit, I think it's like Jumper or Plopper or something like that. It's a giant jumping frog from Pikmin. And so you like, I don't remember what character it picked, it picked like Mario or something like that and gave it like super high jump and whatnot. And it just kept trying to do the down smash attack. It was fun. It's okay. I've only unlocked about 25 people on the main roster so far. Right. And so I got a ways to go, man. But I at least unlocked some characters that when I play against Brandon, hopefully tonight, I'll actually have a fair chance of instead of the first 8. Now, saying that with any grit in my teeth would kind of debunk my whole complaint against the complainers. Because, it does kind of stink. I only had like 10 people to choose from when I, first night. But I know if I want this, if I want Marth, I know I can just look up online, just play adventure mode with this character, and you'll get a chance to fight him. So I can handpick.
There's also a difference between just outright complaining and then providing constructive criticism. If you don't like something, it's always more helpful than to just be angry and upset at the company and posting on social media just messages of anger. Just make a logical argument. Say, I don't like this because of this, and it makes me feel this way, or whatever. Something that shows that you've thought things out on why it makes you upset, and maybe that'll allow the developers or the community managers to be like, all right, that actually makes sense. And then they'll take that forward and be like, all right, what can we do with this? So a better critique would be maybe having 10 characters at the start is too less when you have a roster of 75.
Sure. They could have started off with, say, 30 instead and let the last 45 or so,
Yeah, so like if it's 75, give them 30. The remaining, make them harder. So, but at least now you have a good, and make sure that the 30 are a good balance of like easy beginner characters or advanced intermediate, and some characters that are actually like, powerful, some that are like fun to use. Give it a good healthy mix, and then you make the challenges to unlock the remaining a lot harder.
Excellent criticism. Or if you can be somebody like Jason Schreier, a very popular video game critic, you can just simply post on Twitter, hey, Nintendo, if you do this is going to be the worst mistake you've done on the Nintendo Switch for the past couple of years since it came out. Just drop that bomb. And it's like, okay, thank you for your thoughts. Strong opinion.
It's something. I've already seen people who've unlocked everybody. So...
And there's if you love Super Smash Brothers as much as somebody who wants to play as much as they want, it's easy to do. Like I would say, in order to do all of them, and if you're efficient about it, it could take anywhere between 10 and 15 hours of solid gameplay. Maybe a little bit longer if you're having struggle with some of the games. But honestly, if 20 hours of the thing is going to lock everything for you, and that means you're going to play for a couple hundred more hours minimum, playing with your friends and all that stuff. I feel like that's a small price to pay to understand where, what to do with all the characters, or how to play with all the characters to get all of them, because you need to know how to play.
20 hours is also nothing. Like 20 hours you build up over the matter of, if you play maybe only on the weekends, you'll build it up over a matter of a month, right? Or 20 hours you'll build up over a matter of a week. So in hindsight, it's not really.
I know it's not that bad, honestly.
No.
And I mean, Super Smash Brothers. It's fun.
It's Smash. Yeah.
It's a fun, just mess with your friends and all that stuff. So honestly, I think that's all I have to say about the games I played this week. I could rattle on about Pixelmon if you want, but beyond that, no. Lots of Pokemon in my life.
We've had a few interesting things happen in the gaming sphere. I'm assuming you have some of these links open.
Yes.
Do you want to take the lead with the first one?
Sure. So the first one, and I'd like to say thank you, Twitter, for this article, I guess.
This is where I saw the Reddit post, and I'm like, all right, this is the only source I had for it. But I can find a different article out there.
No, it's perfectly fine. So it looks like Game Workers Unite in the UK now is officially a legal trade union. This is groundbreaking because this is one of the first times that we have seen a video game industry part in anywhere in the world have a unionized group of people working for them. So the idea that, we were talking about this before, a lot of game companies, developers and whatnot, they're contracted and whatnot. They can get let go at any time. And now that there's a union in place over in Great Britain, this might set the ground to help, protect people from being screwed over by the, the developing company or more than likely the publisher.
Right. Yeah.
And this is fantastic. Wow. And of course, there's a link here, GWU Game Workers Unite UK.org/join.
And of course, it's coming off whatever happened with Telltale Games and even over at Rockstar, where with some workers quoting 100-hour weeks. It's something we talked about as well on the show, needing something, not necessarily having to be a union, but needing something to protect video game developers because they're workers too. They do a job, regardless of what you have to say about video games as a form of entertainment. The people who do the things behind the scenes, who actually make the games, they have families, they have lives. They also work hard to earn money to do things in their lives. And so something like this should start having, it's needed after everything that's happened this year, and it should have a ripple effect throughout the industry. Absolutely.
This is awesome. I'm looking at this video right now. It's just, showing, hey, we've seen shit happen. We've heard about all the horror stories and all that stuff. And the first step to getting them protected in a, legal fashion, this is best case scenario right now for UK right now.
Yep.
I'm excited. I'm hoping that we can do something like this to help cover some of the people over in the States and, in Canada too. Obviously other places of the world, like in Japan and whatnot, but UK is a small for us, but otherwise big step for helping developers get the protection they need so they don't feel the super pressure of getting left behind because they wanted to spend more time with their family and not do 80 to 100-hour weeks just working on a game that was promised too early.
Right. So I wanted to start off with happy news because we're going towards sadder news, or at least not so happy news. Heroes of the Storm is taking a big blow.
Oof.
So this is an article that's coming from Destructoid.com, quoting directly from the post on the Blizzard forums. Heroes of the Storm is not performing, and I'm paraphrasing very roughly here.
Yeah.
It's not performing up to par as Blizzard would like or shareholders would like. So they're moving people away from Heroes of the Storm to other franchises. So Overwatch, Warcraft, World of Warcraft. What's the other game that they do? Hearthstone, all the different other franchises. And that also means that they're taking away the competitive scene that happens every year at BlizzCon. The game will still be running, and they'll be pushing out smaller updates, or at least they'll be doing smaller content cycles.
This is going to get a StarCraft 2'd.
Yes, for the most part, it's pretty dead, according to Blizzard.
Oh, yeah. I can see it. I mean, the last time I seen them try to do anything to really push hard for Heroes of the Storm was for Destiny 3, if you wanted, or not Destiny 3, sorry, Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Where if you wanted something unlocked in Diablo or over in Heroes of the Storm, you'd play Diablo characters in Hero of the Storm, which I tried doing. I had no idea what was happening, but I was
They
doing
did that for Overwatch as well, where I had to play 10 games to unlock a Genji skin and a Diva skin. Which I found out later after I unlocked it, playing 10 mind-numbing games. Not because it's a bad game, but because I don't like MOBAs. That they were going to make it available in-game eventually anyways.
It just didn't feel like I had a good time when I played it, unfortunately. A lot of people, friends of mine that tried to make it into the flavor of the month, the MOBA game. Like, League of Legends is stale. Like that. I'm sorry, that's, I think, physically impossible for a lot of people. But, they tried playing Heroes of the Storm. I tried joining with them because I wanted cool wings from Heroes of the Storm. Right. And no, thank you. It's okay. I mean, at least it'll still be there. At least it'll still be there. It is. I mean, it is sad for the the dedicated hardcore group of players, the hardcore fan base that do still play the game. Yeah. But also thinking about it practically in comparison to a lot of the other MOBAs out there, not much can compete with LoL and Dota. That is very, very true. Unfortunately, right. I mean, and so the fact that it survived so long is amazing. Or at least the major support has kept it going for so long is amazing. But yeah, Heroes of the Storm taking a big blow. And then this is a piece that I thought you'd find interesting. And I feel like would serve as a good warning for everybody out. Yes. For all of our listeners. This warrants a strong PDA. So there are no spoilers here, but this is just a public service announcement. Right. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out in 2018. Yes. It has a release date officially slated for, I think, January 26th, 2019. 26th? I thought it was the 29th, but semantics, it doesn't matter. It got released in December instead. According to this Reddit post, and according to the Twitter post that it links to, somebody managed to get a hold of about 30 copies of Kingdom Hearts 3 and is selling them for about $100 each. Local only, cash only. To minimize the risk to himself. There were comments on the Reddit post as to why isn't he making it more, why isn't he selling them for a lot more? Because he's doing cash only, it would make sense that the price is a lot lower, so it's easier for people to get cash, smaller amounts. And also it doesn't raise too many flags. As to how he managed to get a hold of these copies, apparently they suspect that he works for the shipping company, and he managed to snag a few. Oh man, the old fell off the truck trick. Oh boy. Yeah. Hot damn. So with this going on right now, Mr. Tetsuya Nomura himself descended from the heavens, where he thought he could live in paradise for at least a couple of days before the shit went downhill, and he actually passed out a message less than 24 hours ago. You ready for this? Yeah, ready for it. All right, and I'm gonna try to channel his energy because he has big Kingdom Hearts dick energy right now. He could probably just blow this planet away just with his power alone, but he saw fit to let us live. From the big man himself, we're aware that a small portion of Kingdom Hearts 3, which is in all caps, has been circulating online before its official release. We are also aware as to how this all happened. We're sorry to see this caused concern amongst our fans who are excited for the release. The whole team has been working together since yesterday night, in Japan time, in parentheses, to investigate what we can do to better the situation. But first, we would like to ask that you do not share these videos. Okay. The game's epilogue and secret movie, which are the biggest spoilers in the game, apparently, are planned to be released at a later date just in case, so they will not be shown before the game's release. Smart move, actually. Or it's they haven't actually done it yet. We want everyone to be able to equally experience the full game after its release, so we ask for your continued support on this matter. We're also very grateful that our fans have been warning each other already about the spoilers. Arigato. We're out 1 month from the release. Let's enjoy the game together when it releases on January 29th, 2019, which is also slotted as the day that I will have a new niece for my sister. Oh, congratulations. Yeah, I'm kind of upset. It's like, come on, sis. Can't you hold it in just one day? I want to play a little bit.
buy a little mini portable TV, or take one of your monitors and take your PS4 with you.
Oh, jeez. Smart move. It's a good call. But yeah, they're on it. There's not much they can do besides maybe if somebody were to play it online or, has a pop-up online, they can absolutely take down any stream that's done of it on YouTube or on Twitch right now, because if it's pre-released game or if it's a game that's not out yet and they got it illegally, then, they
also
have that
stuff like this for streaming platforms, global moderators will be on the prowl and will be aware. I'm sure the company would be communicating with them. YouTube has stronger automatic copyright laws, I believe. Like whenever it goes through its post-processing, the video is scanned and then checked for any material. Twitch doesn't have any of that, so you have to wait for global moderators to actually take down the stream.
Right. So we will unfortunately have to deal with that. In the meantime, don't search for Kingdom Hearts 3 videos unless you just want to ruin your appetite for it, because honestly, Square Enix has been shitting the bed a lot lately. This one, I'm going to say it's not their fault. It's almost certainly not their fault, but they need a break. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be their break after all the stuff of with the Quiet Man, with the super delay of Final Fantasy VII's episode. I keep saying words with an I in it weird today.
I will say this though, and I had a discussion with about this with a friend the other day. In terms of spoilers, I really don't like spoilers, and I make it very clear. So anytime I'm about to discuss something, I always bring up, all right, do you like so and so? Do you like X? I'm like, yes, I like X. Do you want to learn about this thing, but it's a spoiler? They're like, no, I don't want to, or sure, I don't mind. Let's talk about it. There are channels out there that will discuss these spoilers. And there's just some people who just don't really care about spoilers and just enjoy discussing. I'm not talking about going out there and blasting spoilers, but if there's a place on the internet for people to have a discussion and you don't want to be a part of it, instead of being upset, just leave that space. That's all I'm going to say. Just people are free to do as they wish, but as long as it's not ruining it for everybody else. So if there's a private space on the internet that people are discussing spoilers and you don't want to be spoiled, rather than raise a flag, just leave.
That is a very fair thing. And in the meantime, on Twitter settings, there is a little section on the account where you can add muted words. You should totally probably add Kingdom. Oh, I'm looking at it right now. So I have 6 words I have muted right now. I'm gonna say them, and you tell me which game do you think. I was worried about spoilers. All right, the first word is Kratos, and then God of War, and then God, just to be safe for some reason. The word boy, God of War with no spaces, and then hashtag God of War, no spaces.
You were worried about Red Dead Redemption 2.
You were on the spot. I was worried that someone's going to tell me about Marston being the main villain at the end, which is not true, by the way. Don't at me, please. Jeez. But yeah, I'm just gonna add the word kingdom.
So I actually used muted words when I wasn't able to watch Avengers Infinity War on its release, and I had to wait for about a month. And so I just put in the names of all the events. I put in Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and the list just went on. And I managed to remain spoiler free till I watched the movie.
Very nice. Very nice. That's awesome. It stinks because there are some movies out there where if you are fresh to the experience, it has a much better foundation and an effect on you. Whereas it's like if you know what's going to happen at the end that changes the whole premise of the movie or the game, then it kind of dampens the experience. Now, normally I don't care unless I'm really passionate about it. So Kingdom Hearts 3 would be one of those games that I've been waiting since Kingdom Hearts 2 was finished, back
so about 12-ish, 13 years, I think.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. Like there was a time where I was on a website, I think it was called KingdomHearts3.com, where it was like in tangent with KH Insider, where we're trying to figure out what will they do next for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Right.
And that was during the majority of high school. So I don't mind hearing about the worlds and stuff. Hell, like I keep saying this with Breath of the Wild. I didn't look at anything that was related to Breath of the Wild until about 2 weeks before the game came out, because I was excited. I know it was going to be a great game, but I didn't want to, see it. I wanted to just open it, and it's like, whoa.
Right. Yeah.
And I made the mistake of watching a quick look of it from Giant Bomb, and I was like, you can jump. holy balls, you can jump. And it was cool. But I'm in the same process right now with Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm still listening to the podcast, got it memorized. Shout out to them. They're currently working on Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, which I believe is for the 3DS. And they're saying that they'll be done with that. So if you want to catch up on Kingdom Hearts history and whatnot and try to understand all of it, Got It Memorized is one of the best podcasts to help, get through Kingdom Hearts without having to play through the whole damn game. And it saves a lot of time and heartbreak because a lot of those games they don't have the most glorious spots if you just want story.
No.
Or you could, I guess, watch it on YouTube. Your call.
So I have a nice little topic of discussion here lined up. And you already kind of briefly touched on it. I wanted to talk about the future of gaming a little bit. But
wow, that's a little that's a big ball
but let's talk about it very loosely, and I kind of had a flow for the conversation and not let's talk about you touched on it with the VR headsets and about Nick's stepdad or dad, I can't remember,
Nick's stepdad being just thrilled and overjoyed being able to play Beat Saber.
So stuff like that where we have gaming is now able to take on multiple forms for various other people to enjoy it. Like we already had kind of interactive games with what's it called, with the Guitar Hero.
Yeah, the one with
Guitar Rocksmith and stuff like that. And then the Wii came along.
The Wii U also came along, despite what people say in it being a mythical system.
Never heard of the Wii U.
I can tell you all about it. It's fantastic. Okay, you gave me the look like, are you really about to do this, Tyler? Are you serious? The joke is as dead as the Wii U. Come on, just
pretty much. And the Vita. Never heard of it either.
Oh boy, well, I got something hanging above my head I am more than happy to tell you about.
I don't know, I can't see anything above your forehead, so it's fine.
It's okay.
So like this mishmash of this fusion of reality and the virtual space. So we're talking about augmented reality, virtual reality games is becoming a lot more prominent. Maybe not on the front page, like on Twitch or other streaming softwares, but on the home front. As family games, we've got the Nintendo Labo that's allowing kids to be a little bit more interactive with the kinds of with different games, build their own things. And so I wonder, with all of this, is there ever going to be an avenue where we would be required to be physically fit to play certain games, where we could actually have Olympics where you have people put on a headset and they're running around on this little platform that moves along with them, and they're playing virtually in a Call of Duty game or whatever?
That would be a wild experience. I mean, even on the simplest level, I'm fat. I'm not gonna lie. I played Beat Saber. I was like, man, my legs are cramping like a son of a bitch. Like, I'm the guy that, I might be pretty tubby, but I'm also the guy that, pulls, thousands of pounds of product around. So it's like, it's no joke. VR can tucker you out if it's a moving game like that. When it comes to that style of thing, though, do you get tired when you play laser tag? I think the answer is yes, that is possible. You can get tired by moving around just naturally. So if we go into that field or direction of video game style or the VR, there's going to be a lot of challenges that we might need to accept or try to modify in such a way that we don't. Another thing that we could potentially do is I saw a style of virtual reality where they put you in a harness like around your hips and whatnot, and they put you on a surface that's constantly moving under you. Kind of like this weird trackpad that will, track your steps and whatnot, but you just stay in one spot and you can just walk around, just, Michael Jackson spacewalking forward.
Right.
So, that's the other option that we could consider looking into. I'm not sure how well that would go because, quite frankly, I don't want to be seen as, the harness still has to fit you. You can't, you also got to move your legs still. So I'm not sure how that would go. What are your thoughts, though?
I think it's very likely that there is going to be a niche in, let's say, the coming 20 years that combines physicality and gaming and it's gonna bring those two different worlds together. Like we're already seeing, gaming is no longer a trend. I think gaming is now being slowly accepted as a culture, as a way of life.
Okay.
Because gamers 10 years ago were seen as nerds, people who live in their mom's basements, people who are just antisocial.
I would like to say that ever since YouTube became a thing, has been. I think it turned on its head. I seriously think that people who play video games have become the cool people nowadays. Like,
currently, but I'm talking about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
let's take 15 years ago.
The day that YouTube came out and people, stars like PewDiePie and Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, once those big names started, becoming, these cool, suave-looking characters that love to play video games, I feel like people who played video games became cool sometime in the late 2000s.
I will agree with you on this. YouTube launched at about 2005, 2006, with all these, the original gaming YouTubers. Let's say the people who watched them were about 16, 17, right? They'd be about 30-ish now. So that makes sense. As I'm getting older too, it makes sense that this is the kind of culture, like, till about 35 that's kind of hip and like okay with gaming. But it's still like the older generation that's a little bit more, or was resistant until now, where it's kind of like, your stepdad, he knows who Drake is. Oh, look, Drake played this one game, and now the different cultures are sort of different bubbles are starting to cross over.
Right.
And also, like I was saying, touching on Nick's stepdad being overjoyed with something like Beat Saber, which is physical interactive gaming at its current peak. Which I think is fair to say, which is simple but still rewarding enough, where it doesn't feel like you're playing a video game, but you're actually still doing something. You've worked for that score at the end.
That is also very true, and I want to modify what I said a little bit about arguing 10, 15 years. I feel like after like maybe 2010, between 2010 and 2018 has been like where the opinions of people playing video games has steadily gone up in favor of us gamers not getting completely trashed. And then, of course, there's that whole segment where Gamergate and all that shit kind of brought some of us down, especially just dumbasses and opinions of extreme levels. It was ridiculous.
Right. And there's always, it's with anything can be classified as an addiction when it's gone beyond the normal scope of what you should be doing with that. Let's take reading books as an example. Yeah. If all a person ever does is read erotica 24/7, they can't function on a daily basis without getting their
because they need erotica.
Sleep. It's you can.
I'm debugging the thing. If you say 14 hours, I can work with you. But realistically,
all right, okay, 14 hours, Tyler. All right, let's say they wake up, they get something to eat, and then that's it. They were just reading erotica the whole day.
Hell yeah!
And then they get some more food, and then they sleep. How is that any different from somebody waking up, getting food, and just playing all day until they get food and sleep?
I guess they're both neats in the end.
So, like, I don't know. Conversations need to be normalized around people who play video games. There are still opinions about people when they're looking for partners or significant others that, if you play video games, you're a child. And while I can respect that opinion, it's a wrong opinion.
I can respect that, but it's wrong.
Like, I can understand if all they do is play Call of Duty and, it's a 30-year-old man or a 30-year-old woman or a 30-year-old person up until 4 a.m. yelling at 12-year-olds on the other side of the world and saying that they fuck their moms. I can understand that being an issue. But if a person who's 30 years old enjoys playing these little visual indie games, and they just enjoy the experience of it, how are they a child? Like, it's the same, do you know what I mean?
Yes. And touching on the other topics we got here, you also have little mentions on the future of gaming as in regards to microtransactions and mobile gaming. Are we at the point where we have to accept that there are a group of people out there who play video games but strictly on their phones?
We passed that point ages ago.
Are they gamers?
I personally,
if somebody lives and dies by Pokemon Go, but they don't ever play a Pokemon game in their life beyond that, do we call those people gamers?
I don't know. My issue with diehard Pokemon Go players is the fact that they don't know Pokemon, or at least a lot of them don't.
Right. It is
or that's my issue. It's more about not knowing the series, not knowing what makes Pokemon, not about the gameplay, because there are other I'm sure there are other Pokemon games that people would live and die by that aren't the core titles. Like we've got Pokemon Conquest, you've got Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Pinball, you've got all these other different ones, different spin-off games, and I have no issues with those. It's just purely that I don't like it when somebody says, oh, that red Pokemon.
I am gonna say right off the get-go, I believe if you play a game, no matter what it is, even Monopoly at this point, I would call you a gamer. Now there's also, you can get more descriptive: video gamer, console gamer, PC gamer, mobile gamer. At the same time, though, somebody that in the situation I described with just playing Pokemon Go, it almost seems like counterculture at this point. It's like you're kind of defeating the purpose of when I'm trying to tell you game culture. It's like, yeah, I play Pokemon on the phone. And it's like, okay, I guess, yeah, that makes you a gamer, I think. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon on the phone. It's not Pokemon Go. I've been playing Pokemon Showdown.
Quest. Oh, Showdown.
Yeah, Pokemon Showdown.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, I mean, if you have fun with it, play whatever you want. Don't listen to me. I'm just a 23-year-old Indian guy on the internet with an opinion. But my issues with when people who play Pokemon Go, and this is Pokemon Go specific,
did I strike the perfectly wrong nerve mentioning that?
If you say you're a Pokemon a fan of the Pokemon video games, but you've not played anything beyond Pokemon Go, you're not a fan of the Pokemon games, because Pokemon Go is not a Pokemon game.
Okay, let me pose a different comparison then.
Okay.
Dragalia Lost, you do a lot of dungeons and actual raids and all that stuff. You build up your characters, you upgrade them and stuff. Destiny 2, you do the same thing. You do a bunch of missions and quests and stuff like that. Would you say that there is a difference between somebody who says that they do a lot of raids on Dragalia Lost and then someone who does a lot of raids in Destiny 2, if they take the same amount of time for each one?
Yes, I would say there's a difference. The difference being that Dragalia Lost is its own separate thing, and it's not infringing on the culture of Destiny.
Well, I'm not saying that...
Okay, no, but... I mean, no, I know. I'm just still thinking about Pokemon
I'm
Go.
gonna say, is there? Oh boy, is there any disrespect where somebody says, "Yeah, I'm a hardcore raider. I play Dragalia Lost," versus somebody says, "I'm a hardcore raider. I play Destiny 2."
Again, if you have fun with it, I think you can game on whatever platform you want.
I would agree. Oh man, it sounds like you're walling up now, Nick. What's going on here? You send?
No, I mean, I've nothing. I can't speak to the kind of skill it takes because from what I understand about Dragalia Lost, it's more of a time dedication than anything else.
Yes.
So I can't speak to it being like a skillful achievement. Mind you, I've never played the game, so I don't want to sound like an asshole.
Ah, okay.
But if you're having fun, it entertains you. You have people that you can play with or people that you can talk about it with.
Would you call yourself, and this is a loaded question, a mobile gamophobe?
Not a gamophobe.
Are you afraid of mobile gamers, Nick?
An anti... I'm like a gaming elitist, so like I disregard the mobile gamers.
That is
Mind
fair.
you, though, I have played a handful of really beautiful puzzle games.
A handful of it, eh? Right, like the size of a phone's worth, maybe?
Size of phone, bunch of, so you can see some video games there. Monument Valley is one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
It is a beautiful, beautiful game. So I feel like the size... the form factor of a smartphone is better suited for more puzzle games. I will say that for puzzle games, tappers, games like Dragalia Lost, for example. That's the kind of like game I see on a mobile phone.
It stinks because a lot of people think in order for it to be acceptable as a gaming platform, it should be able to play properly and easily ports of other games. Like you got to ask yourself, when Fortnite came out for the tablet, was that a smart choice? Because I mean, a lot of people will still try to play it, but it's like trying to play Halo 3 with DDR. Like you're trying to move to the right, so right foot, let's stomp. And right. I just feel like the tablet, the phone platform, it's its own beast. Touchscreen has its own choices, and as you said, a lot of times games that are puzzle-based or speedrunning style games, they are really, they shine the most in a touch-based game platform. And I feel like mobile gaming, much like VR, is going to have its own set of rules.
And I've seen honestly, I've seen some amazing players for Fortnite mobile. Even PUBG on mobile has some amazing players, and it's its own skill. These are people who can comprehend the mechanical skill it takes to coordinate their thumbs with what's available on their screen with no buttons. And I have nothing but respect for people who can game like that.
And that's a skill.
No, it's a skill, hands down. They're fantastic gamers if they can do that. If they can do that on a phone, I'm scared to see what they can do on a mouse and keyboard.
So, okay, the last thing I'd like to talk about is microtransactions. That's clearly the way of the future, whether we like it or not. Fortnite would not have been as popular of a game as it was if it wasn't for the fact that it was able to come out free and yet still profit into the billions by transactions alone.
Fortnite does it right, in my opinion, because you don't need to buy anything to be able to play the game to its fullest extent.
Right.
You can experience full top tier gameplay, practice as much as you want, play as much as you want, without having to buy any of the skins or the battle pass. But Fortnite makes all of the skins, a lot of the emotes, a lot of the other cosmetic items just look very appealing that it's hard for people to stop themselves from buying.
Absolutely.
And to me, this ties in a little bit with service games like World of Warcraft, Destiny 2, like content releases, content cycles. People have no qualms about dropping $20 to buy a new skin in Fortnite, and new skin that they drop every other week, or every day almost sometimes. But then all of a sudden, when you have to pay $30 to pay for a year's worth of content, people lose their fucking minds.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
And you're not getting any game time out of these skins. These skins are not going to hinder you from playing the game. It makes no difference to your gameplay if you have these skins. Maybe it's a pseudo confidence boost or whatever, but in actuality, there's no difference to like how you play the game. But with this, you're getting more content with the service game like World of Warcraft, where you pay $15 a month or whatever to keep playing the game, whereas people would drop $20 every week and then they complain.
I know. I feel like if I wanted to make as much money as possible and I was trying to get a game out, the way the games like Fortnite or League of Legends, it's pretty much an open air store where it's like, come on in, you don't have to pay to play, just enjoy yourself. And then they just put the most glorifying eye candy level shit that we just want to grab. But it's like, we're not gonna try to throw it at you, but we're gonna put it right here. It is your choice every single time when you want to buy something. You give us money at your own pace. You're in control, customer. You're the one in control. And then us thinking, we're comfortable with that. It's like, okay, cool. I can do this whenever I want. I gotta get all of them. And then they just start throwing money at the screen, and it's just vicious how you give a little trust back to the gamer. How they just jump on that, like it's like they lose their mentality in regards to like how the funds should be handled in a normal gaming format. Because it stinks, because if you want to give a company $60 because you feel like that's how much you were gonna pay for it full price, or how much fun you're gonna have, you do that, and they're just like, okay, cool, we're gonna give you $60 worth of stuff, and we're gonna give you a couple of things you probably wouldn't have been able to get before you gave us money, just a little taster of it, just for free samples on the way out. And then 2 days later, they're going to put down this nice looking battle armor set that you wish you could have had like a month before. And it's wild. Giving control.
It's wild, but also I don't think the companies are doing anything wrong. Because again, it's purely cosmetic. It's purely us that are, we'll get all frenzied about buying this latest skin, and then after we've given all this money,
dick wolves with money, and we just lose our shit every time.
Then at some point we turn around and the company be like, "You guys are, pay to win, walling us off," and we're like, "No, we didn't. We gave you a choice. You didn't have to buy any of this."
On Halloween night, when you get to a house where they just leave the bowl of candy out and say, "Just take one, please." But if they said you can take more if you want, if you leave $1 in this can, if you gave that level of trust at Halloween, it's like, there's some good king size candy bars in this son of a bitch. I could drop $1 for this. And they say you grab that, you get to walk away, and they're like, is that fucking Snickers over there? you keep going back and you keep dropping these dollars because you're like, oh, it's just $1. It's just $1. Little microtransactions. Before you know it, the whole damn bowl is empty and you're fucking broke. Like, shit. Well, at least I got all this good candy. And then when you turn to look away, this little chute just opens right up and more candy just comes in. You're like, that's a nice candy bar. I got a credit card. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with my analogies as always, but
no, but it makes I think I have no understanding of how finances work in terms of like a big video game development. So I can't speak to this too much. And so I'm sure why Overwatch is able to do what they do works differently, and why a game like Fortnite does what they do works so differently. So with Overwatch, you gain currency in game that you can use to buy skins for a certain price, or you can buy loot boxes to get a chance to get some of the skins.
Right.
And so I think that's like a best of both worlds situation. Again, these are purely cosmetic items. Buy a bunch of boxes if you want some of them, or just keep playing and you'll get enough to eventually buy the skins that you like or buy the cosmetic items that you like.
True. And if you don't know what you want, there's always the loot box option of, give me something random. Maybe I'll like it, maybe not. If I don't, it was just a small price I paid. I only paid like $1.50 just for a chance. And sometimes you'll get a legendary item or something like that. Like, oh, okay, thank you for that. Since you gave me that, a $15, $20 item, I guess out of fairness, I should give you a couple more dollars, right? And if you want to give me something else, and I always tell myself every time I go to a casino, and whether it's true or not is beyond them. It's like every time they let me win $20 right off the get go, it's like, okay, they're trying to lure me in. I got to leave this machine while it's hot. I got to walk away because they let you win $20 to young. They gave control to me to try to gamble more to win money until you're under the. You're out of money.
You're under that thumb. Yeah, there's a little man sitting in the machine. All right, we're gonna give him. He's new today. Let's just drop a little 20, and then he pulls the levers and makes sure that you lose that 20 immediately.
Good times. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's good and done. No titles of note coming out this week.
No, it's
this is strange.
I know. I mean, this is good for the bigger podcasting for video gamers. Just because they want to talk about Game of the Year and stuff, which we will be doing next episode.
Oh yeah, next episode is our own unique spin on Game of the Year. So
yes, we'll be doing.
Be ready.
A GOTY in quotations, maybe question mark. We got some fun stuff. We got some very fun stuff. Nick says he's gonna wear a tie or something like that. A bow tie?
Try to.
Okay.
I've never owned a bow tie, so I could go out and pick up a bow tie for next week.
Man, bow ties are they're really classy, man. You might like it. You might get into it. You got to be careful.
We'll see.
Games that came out this day in history, which is December 17th. Nick said there was none, but I found a couple. First one's A Complete Joke coming out from 2015 on the iPad. A game called What Happened Last Night, which is pretty much the game I played after somebody gave me a fifth worth of freaking Crystal Head vodka. What the fuck happened last night? I have no idea what the game's about, but hopefully
you felt it was relevant to your life currently.
Let's see. Over in 2009 on this day, so 9 years ago, the company that is in charge of the game Rocket League, also known as Psyonix Inc., was originally in Raleigh, North Carolina, and they moved across the whole damn country to San Diego, California on this day. So 9 years ago, they made the big jump to be a part of the big video game industry area over on the West Coast, because apparently North Carolina was just a little too far away from the publishers. And then finally, a very, very long time, 31 years ago. Am I seeing this right? I'm not losing this. I think 31 years ago.
Oh, you're correct. If I've inherited anything from my dad, I've said so many anythings in that sense. If I've inherited anything from my dad, it's his math skills. Okay. So 2018 minus 1987 is in fact 31.
31 years ago on 1987 on this day in gaming, came out on the Nintendo system in Japan. So the first time I had ever seen the world was Mega Man. Mega Man's birthday is in fact today. Mega Man is 31 years old. Happy birthday, Mega Man. Man, you survived. You made it. You're even a character on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Look at you. Oh boy. All right. I think that's it on my end. Anything left on your plate you want to?
No, I'm excited for next week.
yeah, we got game of the year shit to talk about.
I'm really excited for next week.
Can we name off like maybe one or two of the categories? Like just give like a light tease of what's going on over with them.
Let me pull up the list over here. Let's see. So we jotted down a list of what looks like almost 20-ish something categories.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna cut them back down quite a bit. But stuff like, standard best trailers of the year. Best star video game industry person. One of my favorite ones that do I even have a favorite one? Yes, absolutely. My favorite category is going to be absolutely not surprised that this game shit the bed.
That is a great award.
And then, best drunk game of the year, most casual game of the year. So it's gonna be fun.
I think we're gonna have a good time. Might get controversial, it might get progressive.
We don't care.
I might call Nick a couple of words. Starts with a C, ends with uck, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're gonna have fun with this. Oh man, the bow tie will be strong, but that is going to be next week. This week has been a good wrap. Nick, why am I acting like the host over here?
I don't know, Tyler. Where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me. You can find me most particularly on Twitter at 2times_Tyler, all letters 2times_Tyler, one word. Just check me out. I post a lot of random bullshit video games. Yeah, the good stuff.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at LRWarrior11 or on Twitch at twitch.tv/LRWarrior11. You can find the show on its own Twitter at, Master Quest Pod? I should know this. This is so we can find Casual Master Quest at MasterQuestPod on Twitter, or email us at casualmasterquest@gmail.com. If you want to say hi, just want to chat, if you're upset, if you have any comments or concerns, just please
what's
let us
your
know.
game of the year? What's the best game that you love playing on the toilet? Let us know.
But beyond that was episode 31. This was our perfect IV episode.
It was.
Have a good week. And
Nick,
don't forget, yes.
Before you say that, I'll stop the presses. I told you at the very beginning I had a question for you. I was going to work into the podcast.
Yes.
I completely forgot about it.
All right, go for it.
Nick, is there something you want for Christmas?
Me for Christmas? No, nothing.
Oh, okay.
To clarify, I've never celebrated Christmas, and so
that's also fair and understandable.
Thinking about gifts during Christmas is unusual for me, and honestly, right now, I just want to drink. I just want to drink and play games.
That's the last thing I want to do right now is drink. I love to play games.
You say that right now, and then tomorrow you have to drive, so you better not be.
Yeah, I also got to drop for a drug test too, and a breathalyzer, so I got to sober up before I hit that thing. Juice.
Tyler, what do you want for Christmas?
All I want for Christmas is to be by your side.
Tight.
Over the internet.
That's tight. I appreciate that. Thank you. So then I would say I wish the same thing too.
Oh, okay. And also amiibos. I do love collecting amiibos. People are like, they got upset. Tyler, you keep saying you want something, then you'll buy it 5 minutes later. I haven't bought an amiibo since last Christmas, and there's a lot of amiibos that came out over the years. So
you heard it here first. Tyler is sad, and the only thing that will make him feel better is anywhere between 5 to 100 gifted amiibos. So please get on it. Thanks. You can find out shipping details if you email us at casualmasterquest@gmail.com. This is Casual Master Quest episode 31. Tyler, any last words?
Yeah, just send me 500 of those fucking Animal Crossing ones that went on clearance after a week. Just send me 500 of those. Let them clusterfuck the hell out of there. Sure.
This is Casual Master Quest, and don't forget to never stop the grind.
We'll see you guys later. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.